Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here, and I'm about to show you what I found in this week's pull. Before I do that, I'll talk about this week's tip. It is getting tougher to get bills and obviously coins from banks. And one of the things you'll notice is that you can only put so much through the drive-through in those little tubes. However, if you go to the business window, if you've got a good rapport with your bank, you can go to the business window. And through the business window, you're going to be able to get rid of or purchase multiple hundreds of singles. Don't try putting more than one strap of singles through the drive-through. If you plug up the drive-through, the whole world is going to be ticked off at you. So please don't put more than one strap of singles through the drive-through. Not through the tubes anyway. So that's this week's tip. One is okay. Two, I've done it and I was told not to do it, so I'm telling you guys, don't do it. All right, that's my tip for this week. Let's take a peek at what I got. I did find a couple Where's George bills. I do recognize a stamp like this. There's quite a few stamps that have the Where's George circle like that. So I don't know if this is someone I've encountered before or not, but I will run that bill just so that they know I found it. And then I found this Where's George, which actually has 3 different types of stamps. It's got one across the top, it's got the rectangle here, and it's also got it on the bottom. And I don't remember if there's one on the back. Yes, there is. There's one on the back as well. So those are my 2 Where's George bills. I will be logging those right after I finish the video. I did find some trinaries. This is 3s, 4s, and 6s. This one is 1s, 2s, and 3s. 1s, 3s, and 4s on this trinary. And this one is 3s, 5s, and 8s. So I did find quite a few more trinaries this time than I did in more recent pulls. This one is quads, quad zeros right there in the middle. Not the greatest of shape on that particular one. This one ends in quad ones. And this one has quad twos in the middle. This one starts off with quad sixes and does have a 5th, 6th there. It's also a trinary, 5s, 6s, and 7s. And then I've got my stars. Somebody wrote on that particular one, so hopefully that one's not a rare. Newer star note here from 2017. And that was it for stars, just 2. Older bills, not much. 1999 on this particular one. Another 1999, pretty poor condition. Another 99, also not in the greatest of shape. This one's at least a 1995, so we're getting a little older. Another 95 here. Another 95. And the oldest bill of them all. It's not that old. It's a 1993, but I don't get very many 1993s. I find a lot of 95s. 93 just isn't a heavily printed, heavily produced bill. So 93, that's one of the more rare bills that you're going to come across. So that's what I happened to find this week. Kind of slim pickings. That's okay. Can't find everything every week. So what did I pull out this week? Well, this week I did pull out a $10 bill, and this particular bill is called a national currency. It's a $10. This is $10 bill. This is a Federal Reserve banknote, and I'm probably putting the accent on the wrong portion. It is not a Federal Reserve banknote, meaning banknote. It is a Federal Reserve Bank note, as in Federal Reserve Bank. This note is not put out by the Fed. It is not a Federal Reserve note. It is guaranteed by the Federal Reserve Bank, the individual Federal Reserve Bank. This particular one is San Francisco. Now, notes like this, there's actually 2 varieties. It's technically called national currency. You can see that right across the top. And this particular one is from 1929. You can see that right there. It says secured national currency secured by United States bonds deposited with the Treasurer of the United States of America or by like deposit of other securities. So that is what it says on that one. And this one also has redeemable in lawful money of the United States at the United States Treasury or at the Bank of Issue. Bank of Issue is the San Francisco Bank, Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. Will pay the bearer on demand $10. So that is a national currency. Like I said, a Federal Reserve banknote. This is versus a national banknote, which looks quite similar. The Federal Reserve banks, there's 12 of them, and we still use those 12 today. San Francisco is represented by the L, also the number 12, because L is the 12th number, 12th letter in the alphabet. The Federal Reserve banks each were responsible for their own as far as who was backing what, versus the national currencies. National currencies were taken care of by national banks, as in the First National Bank of insert city name here. So this one isn't a national bank of San Francisco. This is the Federal Reserve Bank that's actually backing this particular bill. It's a brown seal note like that, and let's take a look at the back. Quite similar to the $10 notes that you're used to seeing, the older small size notes. You'll notice that there is no "In God We Trust," so that makes this one of the godless notes, of course. Not in the greatest of shape, but still a national currency nonetheless. Now, let's take a look at the book and see what the book has to say about this. Get this cranked open here. You'll see it says Federal Reserve banknotes, and if I flip back 2 pages, that's where it's talking about the national banknotes. The national banknotes are that one that they list is the First National Bank of Winslow, versus, like I said here, Federal Reserve banks. And when we start talking about the $10 Federal Reserve banks, those cities are all familiar to you. Boston there, New York, and we go on the other side. You're going to see Philadelphia, Cleveland, Richmond, Atlanta, Chicago, St. Louis, Minneapolis, Kansas City, Dallas, and, of course, San Francisco. And this is one of the few times that San Francisco printed some of the fewest number of notes. In this particular list, you can see Philadelphia is at 1.4 million, Cleveland's at 2.4 million. We get down to San Francisco, it's only 1.08 million. And there you can see the prices. They start off at $30 and run all the way up to $15,000 if they are pristine gem uncirculated 65. My note is definitely not a $15,000 note. Probably somewhere between the $30 and $45 range. But nonetheless, that is the national currency, the 1929 Federal Reserve Bank national currency, Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. All right, guys, that's what I've got for you this week. If you learned anything new, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. If you guys leave a comment, I am very good at replying to all my comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.